ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You are back for another edition of Father Figure Podcast, here live from Cypress, California at the Fade District, alongside with my boy Joey Kennedy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, told you guys it's going to be a little different. He faded me up while we're shooting this. Anyways, as I go on, or before I go on, I'd like to thank and appreciate all my subscribers, all my followers, everyone sharing my stuff. I appreciate you guys, man. It's growing a lot faster than I thought it would. The good thing is I got younger gens with my nephews and my kids telling me that I'm at a okay pace. So I appreciate everyone checking it out. Without further ado, I'm gonna give this time over to Joe to kind of give a rundown for us as far as his background on his lovely wife, his beautiful children, and kind of give us a breakdown of who he is and let you viewers know exactly what he is about.
What up, everybody? Name is Joey, owner and barber here at the Fay District. We've been open here for almost 11 years. November 1st will be 11 years. Yeah, man, I've been I'm a local kid. I grew up in the area. You know, went to King Elementary, went to Walker Junior High, went to Kennedy High School. Um, yeah, I've been cutting in the area for since I was 19. I'm 36 right now. And yeah, I'm married. Been married for almost 11 years as well. Actually, no, I've been married 11 years. Been married 11 years.
Got to make sure we get that
Gotta
right.
get that right. Gotta get that right. Just hit 11 years in June. But yeah, so to my beautiful wife Daisy, together we have 4 children, and I have another son from from a previous relationship before. Um, yeah, 5 kids, 17, 15, 8, 7, and 2. So we're busy, but busy is good for us. Yeah, man. We run a couple of businesses right here. Like I said, at the Fay District, we have this is our we had our we had 2 shops, but we had other plans, and we had to close one of them down during COVID. But yeah, looking to get another shop soon. So be on the lookout for that. And we also run a business in financial services. So my wife and I, we've been doing that for about 2 years.
Please plug that in there as well, man.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
everybody know.
Yeah, so my wife and I, yeah, we like I said, we've been doing the financial services thing for like 2 years, and that's been going really, really well for us. We're just learning a lot about the industry, a lot about how to being able to save your money, being able to grow your money, and being able to have your money safe from from any losses or setbacks. So yeah, just doing all that, and I've known Steve now for shit like 13 years,
Yeah, man.
about 13 years now. I've been cutting his hair. Him and his family. I've been able to watch, Steve also, be, the great father he is. Being able to watch, him put all his kids through college, and Pono just left to college, and been able to see Pono really grow up in the barbershop. We've been cutting him since he was 7 years old, so now he's what, 19.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been able to kind of watch from close the journey, and the job that you've been doing, bro. So very, very proud of the job you've done as a father, and it's inspiring for me. And not only you kind of set the standard, and now I'm just trying to follow in those footsteps, and have all my kids for one, want to go to college, and being able to get them there. So yeah, hats off to you, bro.
I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you also mentoring my son as well. Not only, you know, as far as you kind of gave him a little knowledge and a little game on cutting hair, but every time he's set foot in this place, you've always congratulated him. You always, as far as giving him your points of views on things that he should and should not do. And see, that's the thing that we're missing to me. And I'm going to continue to preach this and say this out loud. It's something that we're missing in society today. And I kind of feel like we need that. And if anyone's ever been in a barbershop, it's probably one of our most favorite places. Like the girls got the hair salons and the nail shops. We got the barbershop. And I wanted to shoot it here for the simple fact that our relationship has grown over the years over a haircut. And
Yeah,
we've spoken on everything from our families to good times, bad times, our downfalls, our, congratulating each other on our wins and lives. And I feel like I'm going to keep expressing it, but this is a context that I'm trying to push out there on my channel. So with that being said, I don't want to keep talking about myself. We're gonna push back just a little bit and give us what you can as far as relationship you have with your old man and any other male figures in your life that kind of help mold and kind of guide you as far as who you are and who you've become as not only a man but a father.
Yeah, bro. So my path is a little different than a lot of kids, and I might be able to relate to to a lot of other ones. But my real father, my biological father, he passed away when I was 2 years old. So I didn't really have that relationship. Obviously, didn't really remember much from from being young, and it wasn't because he didn't want to be here. He just he ended up having diabetes, and just at that time having diabetes was like a death sentence. So yeah, I didn't really have my biological father in my life. But my mom did all she can to support us and to raise us, and doing that, she had to work multiple jobs, and she just wasn't able to be around a lot, right? So kind of in the early ages really leaned on my uncle. We all lived together, and then when he finally, like, when they did move out, he was um, just right across the street. So that was awesome to have. My uncle is the reason why I have my tattoos. My uncle is the reason why I was, I'm a huge Cowboys fan. My uncle, the reason why I play basketball. Like he really literally taught me everything as a young child. And throughout my, once my mom remarried, um, and my stepdad came into the picture, he's been around since I was about 6 years old, and he's just definitely a godsend, man, because he's been a huge part of my life, and he's treated me like his own son since day one. So shout out to all the bonus dads out there, to all the stepdads out there that are stepping
Sure.
up and taking care of another man's kid. Yeah, he's being from being handed off from my uncle to my stepdad. Once my stepdad came in my life, my uncle kind of was going through some stuff, so he wasn't really around as much. But my stepdad really stepped up and took that role in, and like I said, I call him pops. Like I don't even like to say stepdad because he's been here, since forever. And my brother and my stepbrother, we don't even call each other brother. We don't even call each other stepbrother. That's just my brother. So yeah, yeah. So those two men right there kind of helped, shape me a lot. And then along the way, I've had some basketball coaches, uh, from Kennedy, and um, a couple other people, but the two main ones are my uncle and my stepdad.
All good, man. And that's beautiful, and we appreciate the story, man. You know, I'm picking a lot of, stand up dudes for these interviews and dudes that, I look at where they are in their lives and also their backstory, man. I mean, I feel like a lot of my different interviews as time goes forward will touch home with a lot of my viewers, and that's basically what I'm trying to get as far as, regardless of your background, regardless of how you came up, like, man, as like the saying goes, the world is small, and
Yeah,
everyone does kind of come across and have a similar story and a similar path. So with that being said, I'm happy that you brought up coaching, right? And so give us a look and a take on how it's been coaching not only your son but the other young men.
yeah. So I got into coaching when my son was 4 years old. I I grew up playing basketball myself, and I always thought my son would be a hooper, but he had other plans for himself. He plays baseball, and
It's
I've been
crazy
in
how that works, right?
yeah. I've been involved with baseball now since, like I said, since he was 4 years old. He's now 15. Actually, today is his first day of school at Cypress High School, so it was a big moment this morning, like finally passing him off to the high school. I felt like everything we've done the last 11 years led up to this moment today.
Yeah.
I kind of am able to now just kind of, just let him free, and under Coach Weber's guidance over there at Cypress,
Yeah.
I know he's going to flourish. So, um, yeah, man, coaching started off with just, like I said, I didn't play baseball. I was saying all that to say I didn't play baseball growing up, so I had to really learn the sport. I had to be a real student of the game. but I knew how kids worked, right? Like I knew how to get the most out of kids. I knew how to get the best out of kids. I knew how to when I needed to be, that disciplinary, or when I needed to, to be that nurturer, right? And for me, coaching with kids, like being around kids, was something that I've always wanted to do. There was always when I was younger. It's funny that I ended up becoming a barber because I was able to do all this in one profession. But
Hmm.
I saw myself being like a psychologist or a psychiatrist to to the youth, and now being able to be a barber, I pretty much do that, right? Like
Right?
without getting paid for it, but it's all good. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. So going back to coaching, I just, like I said, it was just an easy transition for me to start. For me, it was more so learning the sport. I always, like I said, I was always able to motivate kids. I was always able to get the best out of kids. And for me, growing up, my mom, like I was saying earlier, she worked so much. I wasn't able to play I wasn't able to play much sports as a kid. So I knew I always wanted that for my son and for my kids. And by doing that, now I just felt like I can just give back. And when you teach a kid something and you see them do it on the field, it just brings you a different type
It's
of
the
joy,
best
right?
feeling, man.
Yeah,
Especially going, not to cut you off, but especially because we don't get paid much, and
right.
a lot of our volunteer hours does sometimes take away from our own families. But to
Yeah,
be able to give back in that aspect is dope, bro.
yeah, and not only that, especially a sport like baseball where you fail so much, right? Like you
Yep.
have to be okay with failure, and it's a different mental sport. And for me, that's the physical stuff is what's I feel is easy, but the mental stuff is the hard part. So for me now, as we gotten older, like I said, my son, he's playing, he's going in his freshman year, he's playing 15U baseball. As he's gotten older, it's been more mental talks than anything physical. The physical is going to come, right? Like you keep putting in the work, it's going to happen. But how do you
Yeah.
separate yourself? It's through your mental, especially in baseball. So for me, that's been my biggest, I think, asset to the kids nowadays is
Yeah.
really attacking their mind and really getting them to think, not only think bigger for themselves and that their goals are they're reachable, they're obtainable if they put in the work, but at the same time, it's molding the young men to become, you know, great adults one day, right? So
Yep.
that's the biggest thing for me is, like I said, attacking their mental now that they're older. And yeah, man,
That's
just
beautiful.
yeah, it's just like I said, it's just lost, right? And
Yep.
a lot of kids nowadays they lack confidence. They care too much about what other people think, right? And on the baseball field, we have Deion Sanders said, right, you look good, you feel good, you play good,
Yep.
but we kind of flipped that and went the other way with it because if you play good, you're gonna look good, right?
Exactly.
So I try to tell the kids not to put so much into what batting gloves they have or what cleats they're wearing or what gear that they have,
They're
right? I
worrying
mean,
about the swag,
they're
bro.
worrying
They're
about
worried
the
about the
swag more
swag.
than playing good. And it's like, yeah, man, you look great on the bench, but at the end of the day, you want to be on that field, right? So,
Exactly.
so we gotta, we really gotta think the other way. Like if I have the ugliest pair of cleats on, but I'm killing, making every play, I'm gonna look good,
Yeah.
right? So for me, that the biggest thing is just mental and keep building these confidence because you know it's just I feel like it's the kids right now, they have the hardest time being a kid, right?
Yep.
Like they have access to anything on the drop of a dime. They can search anything, or so. And like I just feel like being a kid right now is really really tough. So just trying to, like I said, pour into their mental and getting their minds right is something that I've been
Yeah.
real passionate about.
And I think you hit the nail on the head when you say that because, you know, relaying back to even like my own kids as far as playing the sports, right? It's been like the icing on the cake that they've received, love as far as help with college, right? But the thing that they're missing is the motivation part, and the motivation part is the process enduring sports. So like you said in baseball, the failure. Well, the failure just doesn't come. Like you gotta fail, get back up, try it again, and it's over and over and over. And as if they could translate that into life, they're gonna be okay. So us being coaches, we gotta push the mental as far as being strong and being able to persevere through it all, man. Because in respect of like Pono, I told him, hey, I tricked you into playing football, not for the whole goal of going to college, but everything that comes along with playing the sport, the
Right.
perseverance, the failing, the working hard, the knowing when to
The
show up
team
early.
building,
Exactly, the team aspect of it.
being able to work with other people.
Exactly. So I'm happy we got to touch base on the coaching part. And then we'll reel it back in all the way back from the beginning before you start talking about the kids and your relationship with them. How did you know? Mrs. Kennedy was the one to, father more of your amazing children.
Oh man, that's crazy, bro. So it's funny. It's how I met Daisy is even a crazy story. When Daisy first walked up, I thought she was a bougie ass girl. I didn't want
Right.
nothing to do
Remember,
with it.
she's gonna be watching this.
Yeah,
So
it's all good. It's all good. She knows the story. So I thought she was just a bougie ass chick, and I didn't want nothing to do with her. I didn't really want to. When she came up to say hi to me, I didn't even like give her any time of the day. And then, come to find out, there was, she had interest, and I ended up, talking to her, and come to find out she was a real down there chick. And one thing about Daisy, man, is Daisy is just she's so nice, bro. Like she genuinely cares, right? All Daisy's ever wanted me to do is be the best version of me, and and yeah, just selfless, So it was easy when we decided that we wanted to have a kid. It was easy to have the kid with Daisy, right?
Yeah.
And then after obviously seeing what type of mother she's been to JoJo, it was easy to just have multiple,
Mhm.
And we've always wanted to have 4 kids, and that was something that we had talked about when we were 18, 19 years old, and now we're 36. Like I said, married 11 years. Looking back on it, we had the 4 kids, right? We had, 2 boys, 2 girls, and yeah, I wouldn't want to, do parenting with anybody else, man. Daisy's, yeah, she's definitely been the rock of the family.
So that's a beautiful thing, man. I appreciate the story, and I love everyone I've talked to so far. The way they love up and talk up their wives, even if they weren't here or they are here or whatever. That's just keeping it real. So going forward, how did you feel that first time where you got to find out the news that she was pregnant with little Joe?
Man, so
And
going,
even the rest of your children,
yeah, yeah.
was it similar feeling? Did you have separate feelings? Like,
So going back to when she was going back to when I was a kid. Like I said, I didn't have my real dad in my life, so I knew I was going to be a young father. Like I always wanted to have kids early. I always wanted to have a big family. Like a lot of people that know me have known that I've talked about that and done all that, and I really just, yeah, wanted, like I said, I wanted to have kids early. So I knew, once I heard the news, man, I was ecstatic, and for some reason I knew it was a boy. Like I already knew.
so you guys didn't find out
No,
before?
we found out.
Okay.
We like I just
Yeah.
knew that God was gonna bless me with my first son.
Nice.
And he did, and I ended up being able, we found out it was a boy, and he already was gonna name him Joseph Kennedy III. Off of
Yeah, man.
respect for my pops and for my dad and stuff like that. So yeah, I was ecstatic, bro. I was ecstatic, and like I said, I wanted to be a dad. I wanted to be a young dad, and um, mine and Daisy's story is a little different too, man. A lot of adversity. We had 3 miscarriages in between JoJo and our next son. So that was real tough to go through, and didn't know if we were going to be able to have kids, anymore. And we kind of got a lot of testing done, kind of figured out the problem, got it fixed, and within the next month she was pregnant. So
Yeah.
after not being able to have kids for 6 years, once we found out that she was pregnant, and that we were out of the first trimester, it was really a blessing, bro. And it was just
Yeah, man.
something that we always wanted. We wanted to. Obviously, I wanted wanted another kid, right? But I really wanted to see JoJo be a big brother because I knew he was going to be great, and yeah, that's what he's been. So yeah, it was my second son was Josiah. My second son with Daisy, was Josiah. I call him JJ. And yeah, crazy enough, 12 months later, Daisy tells me she's pregnant again, and that one was a little harder because we we were super surprised.
Yep.
Just had, like I said, just had our son a year before, and we're gonna go right through it. But honestly, being able to have them back to back has been great too. We always wanted twins, so this is like we feel like we got them, and now like having them back to back, they're super close, right? They're super
Yeah.
close, and they're always gonna grow up together, and they're gonna be best friends, right? And it wasn't that hard going through the diaper stage and all that stuff because we had just
'Cause you're
went through
already
it, so
there.
we were already
Exactly.
prepped and ready
Yep.
for it. So it was an easy transition, but a lot of work. But now they're 8 and 7 years old, so it's definitely easier. They do fight a lot, but it's a lot of love at the end of the day.
Yeah, man.
And then starting over with my baby girl,
Yeah.
it was crazy because Daisy and I literally had a talk the day before, and we were talking about if we're gonna have another kid or not. And initially, we weren't. That wasn't the plan. Initially, the plan was that we were gonna, Daisy had just started her new career in real estate, and we were just, I really wanted her to get that going, and so we decided that day, we're probably not gonna have another kid. It's just not in our cards right now.
Yeah.
And literally the next day, we found out she was pregnant. So that's how quickly those plans changed,
Yeah. Right.
And my baby girl's here now, so
Yeah. Another blessing.
yeah, another one.
That's beautiful, man. Great story. So, leading from that to, so how do, I mean, you're busy, right? You're working your ass off. You're working your other business, trying to grow that with your wife as well, right? So how is it as far as having the different relationships with each one of your kids, and how is that obtainable? Well, obviously, it's work, right?
Yeah.
But how does it differ, and how do the kids react to each of your different reactions and interactions with your other kids?
Yeah. So the boys are super easy. Super easy. I pump fear into them, So my daughters, they test me. They
Yeah.
test me. They know.
Oh yeah,
They
I
know
know.
I'm a lot softer when it comes to them. I have to be careful with how I talk to them because they get sad quick, and
nobody get mad at this, but everything's emotional, bro.
it's just
we all get it, right?
and that's just what it's been so far. So hopefully, we can get them out of that. But that's just what it's been so far.
Good.
My two daughters, man, they're sassy. They're a handful. They're never wrong. It's so funny because I always say like my daughter, especially my daughter Dayla, my oldest daughter. She's me as a kid. She's uh she's super hard headed. She loves hard. Um, but at the end of the day, like she just yeah, man, she's just a little emotional, bro. A little emotional, but we're working through it. And but man, she's also cares about me the most. Every time I'm coming home, she's making sure that I'm taken care of, and that's definitely daddy's little girl. She looks out for me for sure.
So I had posted it not too long ago, and it's funny you bring that up, right? My interaction with my son, and God bless him, man. I can't lie, I miss him to death, bro.
Yeah.
We went to Salt Lake City, right, for a trip for Kenzie's rugby, and everyone there, right, they had all their easy up, pop up chairs, their chairs, and this, that, the other. And I showed up with just a couple chairs and tried to keep it simple, right? And everyone's like, "Oh man, you didn't bring your setup or this, that, the other." I said, "Man, it's crazy you say that, but the guy that is my setup guy, he's in college, so I ain't trying to do all this shit. I'm too old for that shit. I'm keeping it simple, and I'll kind of be homeless and chill out underneath your guys' tents and stuff like that, right?" And so now that he's gone, I took advantage of the fact that he was my right hand man for all these years. So
Yeah, and then they're an extension, right? They're an
Right.
extension to what the household is. I'm not home a lot, right? And my
Yep.
son, he's the man of the house when I'm not there.
Yep.
And he has to lay down the law sometimes to the siblings, and they all understand that. But like I said, he's super blessed to have him as a big brother. Like I said, I wanted to see him in that role, and I knew he was going to thrive. And sure enough, man, he's been
That's
great.
awesome.
So we have like a pecking order at home where like I always tell them, especially with sports and stuff, like I'll teach JoJo, JoJo will teach JJ, JJ will teach Dayla, Dayla will teach
I
Dakota,
love that. Yep.
and that's kind of how it goes. Like I spend you know, and this is just by nature, but I spend a lot of my time with JoJo, you know, taking him to practice, and I'm coaching his team and stuff. So I'm with him a lot.
Yep.
He's learning how to cut hair. He's in the barbershop. Like I'm with him majority of the time. And so having him, like I said, when he's at home with the kids, like he's that extension of us, you know.
A beautiful thing off topic though, and I'm gonna touch base with it, right? And this is advice that Daisy, if you're hearing this, and this is something I always try to tell my wife, and she's kind of taking it hard now that my son's gone. But you kind of gotta have those dates night with your sons, especially for the simple fact that you just said what I did all my, life with my son.
Yeah.
He legit spent 85% of his life with dad.
Yeah.
And so I'd always tell her, like, hey, when we're off or when we're not doing nothing, take them to the movies.
Yeah.
Spend time with them. Like this, that, and the other. Because in the blink of an eye, you're going to be gone.
Right.
You're going to be sad.
Yeah.
So sure enough, we went out there, bro. Oh, my God. Waterworks left and right. I could barely shoot our footage.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying not to make her look bad because she's crying and she's going to kill me for saying this. But
Yeah.
it's real, though.
Yeah.
So, mothers, you out there and you have your sons, and 90% of the time they're with their dads. You gotta take that time and opportunity to be like, hey, let's go do this, let's go eat, or let's go take a walk, or as much as you possibly can, because when they out, they out. And this is the way I grew up. Men leave their families and they go with their wife's family, and the girls always come back type shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's true. You know what I'm saying? I think I shared this with my mother, or no, with my wife, that I remember the day I got married to my wife. My mom never hugged me so tight, ever. Like she always hugged and kissed me or whatever, but the day I was leaving her,
Yeah.
man, cried her eyes out. So, moms, if you're watching out there, take advantage of the time. Because it's real. Man.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Appreciate all this. But yeah, we'll go back and we'll go into some insight as far as what is some advice. In a blink of an eye, you're going to be sitting where I'm sitting, right? Joe's almost there, and everyone's going to follow suit and right behind him. And they've had their parenting for great parents, solid fathers. What is it that you're going to be able to say individually to each child? What a piece of advice do you have for them?
So yeah, man. So growing up, like I said, my mom went through a lot, right? My dad died when I was 2 years old, so she went through, all that stuff, and single parent, raising us, and my mom was conditioned to, to really go work a job, right? Go work a job and you know, go work that traditional 9 to 5. Um, I didn't. So when it was time for me to, when I was growing up, my mom didn't really push college on me too much. She didn't really. She didn't go that route, so she didn't really push that. She pushed more so me going to get a job, and going to work. And that was something that I definitely didn't want to do. I didn't want to work for nobody. I knew I wanted to be my own, my own boss. And so one thing that advice that I give to my kids is just dream, right? Never stop dreaming. So I was saying all that to say, like, my mom, she never really, and it's, my mom was a real loving, caring mother. She was there and, did all she could. But when it came to me to like dream, right, there was never no like, oh, honey, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, you can dream and, and go get whatever it is you want to do. My mom was more, I guess you would say, realistic when it came to that. She kept it real, and she kept
money, bro.
And she was just more so like, even when I was gonna be a barber, I told her I was gonna cut hair, and she was like, "It's not gonna work. Like, it's just like they're not making enough money." And I was like, "All right, well, let me show you. Let me go show you." But so for my kids, it's more so like, whatever dreams they have, man, they can accomplish. Whatever dreams that they set, they can achieve, right? And it's as we get older, we lose that sense of dreaming, right? We just life is going on so much that we're just really conformed to that, and we kind of lose those dreams that we had as a kid. So right now, even for myself, I've been really, putting myself in situations to where I'm doing a lot of personal growth, a lot of self development right now, and like I said, so for my kids, it's just all about dreaming and knowing that whatever that they want to do, they can go do it.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that's something I tell them too. And the biggest thing that I drive home with them is And look, I'm 44, starting a podcast, a blogging, YouTube channel type shit. And,
Yeah.
everyone's kind of looking at me funny, like, bro, you kind of old for that. And I said, you know what? One thing that I've been telling and preaching to my kids is that you can do whatever you want. And what better way but going and doing?
Yeah, you got to show.
Exactly.
You got to go show them. That was one thing.
Yup.
Even going back to my son, like I said, JoJo, he's a freshman at Cypress High School now, and if I'm telling him, hey, you got to work out every day, you got to do this, you got to do that, but I'm not doing none of that.
Yep.
Like, what
I see
example am
that.
I
That's
leading? So that's the biggest thing.
I need to get on the working out
That's
tip
where
too.
that's where I had to get
Yeah.
on it. I've been
Yup.
on it, and it's just leading by example, right? At the
Exactly.
end of the day, I can't tell my kids to do something that I wouldn't do. So
Yeah. So on my last,
practice what you preach.
yeah. So on my last episode, my guy kind of gave a little bit of, a rundown of what he lives by. So, are there any quotes? Are there any sayings from anybody in life that you kind of live by, kind of help push that to your kids?
You know what? Lately, like I said, going to a lot of self-development conventions, going to a lot of personal growth seminars and stuff. I would say one of my favorite ones that I found recently is change your association, or your association will change you.
Man,
And
that's facts.
that's one thing that I've really like been trying my hardest to lock into is I'm really trying to change that, like change my association. I'm just trying to bring myself around higher level people, and
Exactly.
and they're gonna eventually like mold me into what I'm trying to be, right?
Yep.
So I told my son this today. I was like, hey, dude, there's a lot of people that are coming to school with you, right? There's a lot of people that haven't seen you in a while because he left and went to a sports academy for a
Yep.
year. There's a lot of people that you outgrew,
Yep.
that you don't need to be around anymore. Doesn't mean that you can't converse and talk to them and care for them from afar, but if they're not helping your goals and they're not helping you reach your goals, then they can't be part of it.
Exactly.
Not everybody can come with you on your journey, right?
Exactly.
You got to cut people
I
off.
agree.
You got to be real picky about who you spend your time with, because that's who we end up being like. So yeah, don't either change your association, or your association will change you.
All right, man. Well, it's been a great cut. It's been a great session.
Yeah.
Any last comments? And please, one more time, plug in both your businesses. Let everybody know where they can find you on Instagram or wherever.
Yeah, so our barbershop page is at the Fade District. My personal page is at JK Needs It. Um, yeah, man. So we've been pull up and get a cut. If you're not already already a client of ours, pull up and get a cut. And yeah, like I said, I've been cutting Steve here for 13 years, and like I said, it's been great watching you and your family, man, and really thankful for we had that event, Pono's going away party, and really thankful that we were invited, because it just ties in to everything that that barbering has done, right? It's the relationships it's helped me build with people in the community, and yeah, man. So just keep doing what you're doing, and people are gonna talk either way, bro. So at the end of the
Yep.
day, we ain't worried about
Fuck
them.
it. We're
We
going to
ain't
do
worried
what
about
it
them.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, with that being said, one more thing I'd like
Okay.
to thank you about is, and now you're good. I just want to thank you for opening my son's eyes to having the ability to dream big, right? Because, he had started mentioning, oh, well, one day I might want a barber like Joe. And I say, you know what, son? We worked our asses off to get you to where you're at. Go do your school.
Yeah.
That's fine, right? You want a business degree? That's beautiful too, right? And then if that's in your heart, son, go fucking do it, bro. And
Yeah.
please don't stop. Don't have to wake up every day like your daddy and go punch a fucking clock for another motherfucker. Excuse my language, but
No, you're
I'm
good.
just keeping it real,
At
bro.
the end of the day, yeah, like we're either gonna we're either gonna dream big, right,
Yup.
and go build our own stuff, or we're gonna help somebody else's dream.
Exactly.
We're gonna help fulfill somebody else's dream. So, my biggest thing is that if you can build on your own, then
Yup.
build that, do that.
Well, I appreciate all your insight. I appreciate all your amazing stories. Thank you for being a part of my show.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, I think we hit the nail on the head with every single part of the topics of being a father and your journey into fatherhood.
Yeah.
And with that being said, stay tuned, like, subscribe, share, and comment. Let me know what I need to do. Like I said before, hit my DMs and let me know if you know a solid outstanding man or father figure in your life or that you know of that I could have on. With that being said, that's it, man. Signing out. Y'all stay tuned for my next vlog with my daughter. Road trip with Kenzie coming soon. Hopefully that'll be able to drop the weekend or the next week following. Much love. Live from the Faith District, Cypress,
Yeah.
California. Yes, sir.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.